Gynecologists. What's the worst thing you've ever seen?
The gynecologist is on the phone. Sometimes I encounter unpleasant cases when a girl goes for days, weeks with one tampon. Necrotic vaginal cancer also looks like this, but it's not even close to the worst case I've ever experienced. A 19-year-old girl once came to our clinic and complained that she had a hairspray cap stuck in her vagina. Well, that's not a problem, thought the naive me. But the catch was that she had stuck it in there when she was 15. That's 4 years ago. She didn't explain the motivation behind it, but it was obvious that she was very embarrassed. Even before she undressed, you could smell a terrible odor, which became much worse when I went to investigate the problem. The lid was tucked in with the edge up, and it was obvious that in 4 years, it was well engorged with vaginal tissue. The difficulty of extraction was compounded by the fact that the lid had pierced her bladder and rectum. It took several extensive surgeries to get it out. I'm not a gynecologist, but I know someone who recently had a hysterectomy uterine amputation. Basically, the girl had stitches in her vagina that needed to heal, but she was so anxious to get back to sexual activity that she couldn't stand it and snapped, causing her small intestine to fall out of her vagina. I was told everything in such detail that I don't think I'll ever be able to eat mincemeat again. According to the girl herself, when she was on her way to the emergency operation, she felt the intestine lying on her leg and throbbing. How do you delete someone else's comment here? I had a friend in high school who was very afraid to go to the gynecologist. When she finally decided to go for her first smear, she was so nervous that she put her legs in a vice-like grip on the doctor. According to her, it took a while before she was able to relax and release the doctor. She laughs about the situation now, of course, but her shyness about her female organs has not gone away. She doesn't even like to use tampons. I'm a medical student. One time I signed up to scrub in on a uterine amputation. When we went into surgery, we were told there was a small ovarian cancer, but it turned out to be a lot worse than that. All of the patient's insides were metastasized, so we spent 13 hours just reducing their volume, even though the whole operation should have taken 3 hours. At some stages, we were assisted by guys from general and vascular surgery. We replaced half of the patient's blood volume. After everything we had been through, she was very unwell. She had a long and difficult postoperative period, but in the end, she somehow recovered and went back home to her family. It was a very grueling experience for all of us, but the patient and her family turned out to be just wonderful people, so we were honored to help them. I'm not a gynecologist, but I occasionally do checkups. One time I pulled out a tampon that had been inside for at least a month. What's interesting is that the girl had been having sexual intercourse the whole time. It smelled like hell. After she left, it took a few more hours to air the place out. We were wandering around the clinic thinking about how not to vomit. My dad told me about a woman who was severely addicted to heroin. For some unknown reason, one day she decided to get creative and injected herself in her labia, which resulted in gangrene. I guess it wasn't worth the gamble. A little late in replying, but still, medical student. In a few weeks, I'll be a full-fledged doctor. Not exactly a gynecologist, though. When I had an internship in gynecology, I was sent to examine a girl. As I was getting ready for the exam, the odor in the room was so bad that I started to think I was in for the worst bacterial vaginosis I'd ever seen. I get inside and start examining everything, but I don't see any unusual discharge. That's weird. I start to pull back, and the further I move back, the stronger the odor gets. Turns out her feet just smelled really bad. I highly recommend everyone to read Dr. Lissa Rankin's book, What's Up Down There? There's a section in there where she writes about some of the worst cases of her career. For example, how she found maggots, money, etc. But that's still a flower. The coolest one was about a woman who had a potato growing out of her vagina. Check it out. Wait, what?
And if you liked this video, put a like and write and share it with your friends. Bye.